Hello everyone and welcome back to the life and suffering of Sir Brante. So, in the last episode, we found our true love, or I guess a definition of the meaning of true love, in finding our love with Jean now. So that's a new thing that we're going to have to contend with and someone we're going to have to look out for. But we have intertwined ourselves, if you will, with Jean, and we'll see where that goes. But anywho, now we have the patriarch's sermon to deal with. Thanks to Father Ulrich's efforts, Cassius has lost much of his support among the clergy and the flock, but today the patriarch has summoned the people to his evening sermon in a clear bid to regain their trust. With several champions of faith for an escort, you walk to the square by the silver tree to hear the patriarch speak. Cassius stands tall above the worshippers, his feet firmly planted on the stairs leading into the temple. The old believers crowd the center of the square, while the new believers led by Father Leonard stand on the outer edge. You arrive at the square as the sermon is about to begin. The patriarch calls for silence, and the din of the crowd dies down in an instant. He speaks in a somber voice, clearly chosen for his purpose. As Cassius addresses the crowd, he lifts his arms towards the heavens. As time goes by, the false teachings of Patriarch Photis are spreading further and further, poisoning our land. Every day I try to guide people to the true path, to save those led astray by the heresy of the new faith. And when I saw that our old brethren from the Order of the Inquisition had paid us a visit, I felt great joy, for I knew they were here to purge all lies and apostasy from the province of Magra. But then my trust was betrayed. Those who were supposed to guard the true faith deceived us all. Those who have sworn an oath to the twins to purge all heresy now abet it. They were supposed to be my strength, but they have turned against me. Hundreds of eyes turn to you, stern, unblinking. They came here to revile me and besmirch my name. They have clouded the minds of my flock and turned my brethren against me. And now I call upon you, brother Romulus. You must now answer for your order, for I will tolerate this treatment no longer. Come to me now, approach me and accept my blessing. Kneel before me and kiss my hand so that all may see that you are humble servants of the church. Show everyone that the Order of the Inquisition stands with the true faith. The crowd parts before you, forming a narrow passage to the temple stairs. The patriarch extends his hand to you. Kissing it would be a public statement, tantamount to acknowledging that the order sides with Cassius and supports him in the old faith. But do you have a reason to challenge the patriarch? Is this the time to openly confront him and his entire flock? So, I can kiss the patriarch's hand. The church will go down by 1. Tolerance of faith will go down by 2, and the Inquisition power will go down by 2. Jesus. Reputation for my family will go up by 1, and diplomacy will go up by 1. I can refuse. Oof. If I refuse, the tolerance of faiths will go down by 1. I'll get a death. My eloquence will go up by 1, and willpower will go down by 5. If I accuse Cassius, Inquisition power will go up by 1. My reputation, or our family's reputation, will go up by 1. My valor will go up by 1, and my willpower will go down by 10. And I can't rely on the new believers, of course, because I am not one of them. So, yeah. We will accuse Cassius, get some Inquisition power and some reputation, and I don't need the valor, but yeah. Cassius thinks you are trapped, cornered, but he has underestimated the force of your will. Hundreds of eyes are trained on you, but you withstand their attention with ease. They are all without will, as is the patriarch who leads them. You address Cassius just as Ulrich taught you. Your voice is a command. You are filled with an overwhelming confidence in your truth, devoid of all doubt. The Inquisition does not need the patriarch's blessing, you say. The champions of faith obey the twins and them alone. The blessed mission and goodwill of those who serve the order are beyond all doubt. You need no law but the law of the younger, no love but the love of the elder. You will not lie and you will not resort to half-truths. Only a weak will would stoop to such low cunning. And so you proclaim aloud, the order of the Inquisition is investigating the patriarch so that he may face the highest trial of the faith. Only the sacred tribunal may judge the accusations against Cassius. Your words ring throughout the square, followed by silence. So the rumors are true. The Inquisition supports the schism within the faith. Your order has come to Margaret to lay waste to the true faith in this land. Your order is working to blacken my good name among the clergy and the flock. Your order wishes to put some new believer heretic in my place so that he may poison people's hearts with his false teachings. You have all forgotten the law of the younger. For each and every crime, there will be retribution. Cassius' speech is drowned out by the cries of the crowd. You hear a scream. A rock flies out of the crowd and hits a champion in the face. The warrior falls to his knees. The champions of faith draw their swords. The rock was but the first of many. A hail of cobblestones come flying all at once, aiming for the heads of your soldiers. You cannot see the faces of those who had the gall to attack the order. Cassius watches you with indifference from the temple stairs. The rocks continue to fly. One by one, they attempt to find the champion's skulls. But you have no fear. You do not shout, but your voice is heard by all. Enough! The clamor dies down. The people around you freeze. The mob parts and recoils. You do not know who had the insolence to attack you, yet. But one thing is certain. Retribution is coming, so saith the law. Silence falls. Terrified, the patriarch looks at you and the crowd you froze with a single word. You and your retinue leave the square. Retribution is inevitable. Cassius will pay for his heresy. Those who walk the path of the will shall never submit to the will of another. Oof. I'm beginning to like this willpower. It kind of worries me because apparently Ulrich has some type of force power where he can just battle meditate and screw you over. But I kind of like this. All right, so we went up to 7. We have indisputable authority, but we don't have the tyranny of the Inquisition. Let's see. So we're definitely not getting that. And I don't have the all-powerful Ulrich. I don't have enough yet. The Inquisition is not at 10. Let's see. Yeah, that's not a possibility. And this isn't a possibility just yet because I don't have that 10. Or I can get a true death. And I can get Cassius faces the tribunal if I get evidence against him. But at what cost am I going to have to do that? I can still get ennobled by the sword if I get one more reputation with my family, because I think it's at a 7 right now. I can't be the heir unless we get ennobled by the sword and Stefan isn't the heir. And we can't get, we possibly could get family favored by the overseer if we get glorious bloodline or a family of means, but I don't think we are really even close to that. We almost have maxed out unity, and our reputation is getting higher, but I doubt seriously we would max out any one of these by the end of this chapter. But who knows? We will see. Alright, so my willpower went down by 10. My valor went up by 1, which is, again, that's a little useless to me, but still. It's a thing. The hunt for Thomas. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Thomas Giro severed all ties. He's not exiled and he's not dishonored. Okay. You are shaving before going into town. You scoop some warm water from the washbin. The morning light reflected in the mirror is blinding. A servant rushes in with an urgent letter, or rather, a crumpled up note. He says it is from a childhood friend of yours. You flinch involuntarily. A nasty cut appears on your cheek. Romulus, I'm in trouble. You're the only one who can help me. I already told you about how I got on Commander Otten's bad side. I went against an order of his. Didn't want to squeeze the last penny from an already poor village. Otten thought me a traitor, and now he's finally found an excuse to take me out. If I don't find a way out of the city, I'll be executed. I did my best to hide, but Otten's henchmen are on my trail. I'm out of time. Brante, if you can, for the sake of our old friendship, help me out of this mess somehow. If Otten finds me, I'll be off to the Shining Pillar in no time. Your friend Thomas. Oof. Okay. You crush the note in your hands. A drop of blood runs down your cheek. Your old friend is in grave danger. If you don't interfere, Thomas Guerrero is doomed. Okay, I could not get involved. Thomas will die. If I hide Thomas in the temple, I am going to die, and I'm not doing that. I can turn to my benefactor, Archduke Melanatus. Good. Yeah, I would have hated to have had to let him die. Crumpling the note in your hand, you pace the room and think. You cannot abandon your friend in his hour of need. But Otten is the High Commander of Magra. Opposing him on your own would be unwise. It is time to call in a favor. It is no secret that Sir Otten is fully devoted to his lord and sovereign Archduke Melanatus. One word from the Archduke, and Otten will surrender any thought of pursuing some obscure Legion officer. You are no noble, which means that the Archduke would never pay you any mind, but you are fortunate enough to have the right connections. You reach for a quill and compose a petition in defense of Captain Thomas Guerrero, an innocent and honest servant of the Empire. Every single word of the petition is carefully chosen. You make no demands and offer nothing that could incriminate Otten directly. This is merely a most humble request, a plea for the Archduke to save the life of a harmless little human. You are confident that the letter will find its way to the Archduke. Your past achievements will see to that. You spend the next few days in great unease, hoping that Thomas is able to evade Otten's men in the interim. Then finally, you have a reply. You receive the note from the Archduke, written in indifferent haste. Brante, puny petitions for non-entities do not ordinarily deserve even the tiniest moment of my time, but in this case, I will be merciful. Sir Otten has been told to hunt other prey for his amusement. As for Thomas Guerrero, he shall leave the Legion immediately, never to be seen by His Excellency again. Tarquinius of the Melanatus, Archduke of Magra. You heave a sigh of relief. Otten would never defy his sovereign, the Archduke. Thomas is safe. You set off to find Thomas and bring him the good news. You eventually find the place where your friend has taken shelter, an attic above a shabby inn. You've not seen him for a while, but he looks a decade older already. It pains you to see him so downcast. When you break the news of the Archduke's intervention to Thomas, he looks very conflicted indeed. Really? Otten agreed to let me off the hook if I quit the Legion? I can't believe the Archnians even bothered to listen to you. Does that mean I'm finally free from his harassment? Thank you, my friend. You've saved me from true death. But if I leave the Legion, what will I do then? That's the most humiliating thing there is. All the work I put into joining the military would be wasted. I'd have no job, no pay, and I'd never be a nobleman again. I'm sorry, Romulus. I don't mean to seem ungrateful. It's just, I gotta think about what to do with my life now. But at least I'll get to live it. And it's all thanks to you. Alright, so we've rested Thomas. Or Tomas. Alright, and my diplomacy is influential. Yeah, I'm not going to be received in elite circles anytime soon. Alright, and we're getting closer and closer to the end of this. The Archduke relents. After many years, the simmering, unceasing hostilities between the overseer Gaius Tempest and Archduke Melanatus have finally come to an end. The Archduke has abandoned all attempts to collect additional taxes from the people. By my grace, I hereby release the common people of Magra from the Archduke's taxes. All hail the dynasty of Melanatus, which has protected you since time immemorial. The farmers and merchants can finally heave a sigh of relief. Unexpectedly, the Archduke soon withdrew from all provincial affairs, sequestering himself in his ancestral castle of Serpenverda. The gentry who remained loyal to the Archduke are baffled. Has he accepted defeat at the hands of the Overseer, or is this just an elaborate ruse? Either way, with the Archduke out of the picture, the senior gentry of Magra have lost some of their influence to the Overseer and his retinue of budding dynasties and nobles of the mantle. The feud between the two Archnean rulers has ended, but the noble estates has been split nonetheless. The common people see this as yet another reason to demand change. Alright, so the wealth of Magra has went up by 1, and the power of Magra has went up by 1. A sinner's confession. Dusk falls. After a hot day, the city begins to cool down. The skies grow darker. The pillar begins to shine brighter on the horizon. The people of Anazet leave their homes to enjoy an evening stroll. This is what you see today from the windows of your ascetic lodging at the Inquisition Ward. How many years has it been since you returned home? What have you achieved in this time? Every year, Magra descends even deeper into chaos. The schism between the old faith and the new is tearing the church apart. Patriarch Cassius now openly opposes the Inquisition, and you are still not sure the report against the Patriarch was true. You are running out of precious time, but the truth is just as elusive as it was the day you came home to Anazet. If a priest has questions, who can answer them? Who can guide those who offer guidance? A thin book finds its way into your hands. Profound revelation, a collection of all known speeches by the elder preserved in writing by Prophet Isataeus. You open the book and your eyes find the words once spoken by a living God. And the elder said, I and mine own brother did stand amidst the world, and together we revealed ourselves to them in the flesh. And we found them all besotted, and yet they thirsted not, and sorrow did fill our souls, for their hearts were blind, and they did not see that they entered this world as empty vessels. But now they are besotted. Should they reject the wine, they will beg for mercy, but they shall have none. And my brother shall judge them, and each shall obtain retribution in the full measure of his deeds, whilst I remain apart in my sorrow. As you meditate over this line, you suddenly hear some sort of commotion on the floor below. How strange. The Inquisition ward is supposed to be empty at this late hour. You hurry downstairs. There are several champions of faith dragging a chained man down to the Inquisition dungeons. It is your younger brother. Nathan has been spending most of his time away from home lately. You're not sure when you saw him last. His clothes are torn and tattered. His unwashed hair is tangled and stubble covers his face. He's brazenly drunk, unable to stand. Even from so far away, he reeks of vomit and urine. Inquisitor Romulus, I didn't think I'd find you here. My men caught this drunk by a temple. People told us he was cursing at the twins and pissing under their statues. We found him on his knees in a puddle of his own filth. He must have been praying for their forgiveness, the fool. Even a child knows the younger never stays his hand. He's so drunk we couldn't even get his name out of him. I'd let him sleep it off before the interrogation if I were you. You thank the captain for his information, but insist on interrogating the man right away. As you wish. The night watchman will be right here. Just give us a shout if you need us. Nathan sprawls on the floor motionless. You hold a thin slab of silver in your hands and pray to the elder for a cure. The silver melts into the thin air. Your brother winces and squirms as if in pain, but soon grows quiet. His eyelids flutter open. His eyes are filled with animal terror. Romulus? Where am I? You tell him everything Captain Agaron told you just now, then ask Nathan to explain what happened tonight. He sits up, squeezing his knees to his chest. His voice is very quiet. It'll be a long story, brother. You won't like it when you hear it. But I don't care. If it's you, I'll be honest. I've rejected the twins several years ago now. Their will and love and law mean nothing to me anymore. Our gods are merciless. Their law is brutal, ruthless. Their love is an abuse. Their will is tyrannical. What? You cannot help but glance around the interrogation room. Are you sure no one heard your brother's blasphemy? I couldn't live by the lot of my birth like Isatius wants us to. I turned to the new faith and tried to find my own path to the twins, but it just showed me I don't hate my path. I hate the gods themselves. I met a man once by the name of Father Mark. He was kind to me. He gave me the answers I needed. He guided me to the path I was looking for, a path away from the twins. Mark teaches that the twins are nothing but absolute will, and we're all going to be dissolved in it in the hereafter. Everything we are will be gone. Mark says that the mortal world is the only place where we're free to reject the will of the twins and live a life of freedom. Only here are we free to struggle against the merciless law and the love they force on us. Only here, in this world, can people like me be themselves. Nathan cuts himself short. His eyes are filled with sorrow and disappointment. Mark never told us to pray or perform rituals. He told us to do everything we could to forget the twins exist. We need to set ourselves free from their will to be who we really are. And I believed him. I rejected the twins, and I found my freedom. I became one of Mark's favorite disciples. You can't even imagine how many important people follow him. Even Patriarch Cassius. He follows Mark's teachings too. You cannot believe your ears. Huh. Patriarch Cassius, he's been helping witches and people of other faiths and people like me. He gave us shelter to hide from your order's spies. He told us he was happy to help somebody, anybody, be free from the twins so we can live our lives as we see fit. But there's just one problem. Most of us don't know what to do with that freedom. You know, Romulus, I've drunk so much wine. I've eaten all the food no commoner is ever supposed to taste. I've made love to so many women and men. I felt all the pleasures I could find, but I've never found peace. I was just trying to drown out the cacophony of fear and desperation in my soul. He lets out a bitter chuckle and rolls up the sleeve of his shirt. There's a black circle around his forearm. Your brother has known a lesser death. I've been drunk for days when that happened. I don't even know what killed me. Can you imagine? But that death woke me up. When I appeared before the twins, I saw just how wrong I was. Mark, he took them away from me. The freedom he gave me was just nothing, an endless waste of life. I'm already doomed to suffer, but I'm still not happy here in my worldly life. Nathan points at his chest. He used to wear a symbol of the twins there. Then I started drinking again. I tried to reject it, everything I felt. That's when I went to the statues of the twins, screamed insults, and asked them questions. Why can't I just accept them? Why can't they just accept me? But of course, they didn't tell me anything. They never listen. They just speak their word. Then I got down on my knees and begged them for forgiveness, even though I know they never ever forgive. Nathan looks at you again. Brother Mark's path wasn't mine after all, Romulus, but there are people, some people, who don't have a place in the world of the twins. Please, I'm begging you, have mercy on them. They're already doomed in the hereafter. Please let them live their mortal lives in peace. Your eyes are fixed on your younger brother. This is it, the answers you have been waiting for all along. Have the twins finally heard your prayers? And what do they want you to do now? I can judge Nathan and find him guilty. If I do that, we'll have evidence against Cassius. The Inquisition power will go up by 2. Tolerance of faith will go down by 2. The unity of our family will go down by 1, and the reputation of our family will go down by 2. I can't set Nathan free because I don't have scheming of a 10. And that would have been bad too. If I guide Nathan to the right path, we'll get -1 reputation. We'll get +1. Well, I'll get +1 theology. I'll get +1 manipulation. I will get -5 willpower. Nathan will get recruited, and Nathan Brante will go up by 1. This is tough. Ooh. This is actually tough. Because this will give me the evidence I need. The Inquisition power will go up by 2. I don't really care about the tolerance of faith. That's non-issue at this point. That's... But then if I guide Nathan to the right path, my reputation will only go down by 1. The stats really don't help me. But Nathan will be recruited, and I don't know what that means. Because I would assume, let me see. You are a priest. By your lot, you must guide souls to the true path. Your brother must help the Inquisition arrest Father Mark. And I'm assuming that if I do this, this would possibly still open up that later on. Yeah. Oh man, that sucks. Oh, this is tough. Because that would put me in striking distance of making the Inquisition all powerful. Oh man. Oof. Even though it comes at the cost of my family. Shit. All right, I'm gonna guide Nathan to the right path. I really hope, I really hope this is gonna help me later on. You ask your brother to recall your conversation by the tree in the family garden all those years ago. He asked you about the twins back then. Can Nathan remember what you told him? Yes, I remember. The twins are always testing us, but they don't hate us. They came down to our world and taught us how to live, so their law contains their love. That's right. Without the twins, there is no life, neither in this earthly realm nor in the hereafter. Those who reject gods die inside and can only eke out a pathetic existence. Father Mark and Patriarch Cassius are dooming the very people they're supposed to be fighting to save. They have failed their lot and are now leading their flock to the foot of the pillar. But the twins have blessed Nathan with a revelation that can save people. The twins showed Nathan a path to them, and now they are giving him a chance to stop Mark and his perverse teachings. The twins want to save Mark's erring apostates and return them to the bosom of the true faith. Nathan thinks deeply for a while, then answers. Very well, brother. If you promise not to punish these lost souls, but only offer them salvation, I am willing to aid you. You ponder what to do about your brother. If Nathan stays until dawn, Ulrich will surely get his hands on him. You quickly walk upstairs. What is it, Inquisitor? The prisoner has confessed his misdeeds and is ready to be punished for them. Astonishing. I was certain it was impossible to get anything out of that drunkard. What is his punishment? You sentence your brother to the usual punishment for drunkenness, 7 days with an iron chain around the neck. He will endure this burden and the shame that comes with it. You accompany your brother out of the Inquisition ward by the gray light of dawn. Nathan walks slowly. The metal ball chained to his neck weighs him down. Soon the pain will make him scream, but this punishment is nothing compared to the crimes he has committed. So, about Father Mark. Listen, he's planning to gather his supporters at the country mansion of a nobleman named Gauthier. Or Gautier. There are usually several guards at meetings like these, and they're ready to sound the alarm at the drop of a hat. They'll definitely notice a group of men, but a single person won't seem suspicious. The password to the meeting is Alice. I heard it's the name of a woman Mark used to love. Talk to him. I think you'll both have something to say to each other. You asked Nathan why he decided to share this with you. You have something the twins don't have. And what's that? Mercy. Mark isn't a bad man. You'll see. You helped me. Maybe you can help him too. You cannot promise that. Father Mark is an apostate and a renegade. I see. The next morning, your brother's shame makes your family the talk of the town. Stefan is livid, but the rest of the family just feels sorry for Nathan. Then, as noon approaches, Inquisitor Ulrich sends for you. He wants to see you right away. You meet at a chapel near the Inquisition ward. You are alone in the house of the twins. Surely you were not expecting to conceal yesterday's incident from me. I have questioned the witnesses. Your brother's actions called for a much severer punishment. You allowed your feelings and family ties to outweigh your duty as servant of the twins. This is unacceptable. Father Ulrich is right. You are ready to accept any punishment your mentor deems necessary. But first, you have urgent news to deliver about Patriarch Cassius and his apostasy. Ulrich's eyes grow wide. You tell your mentor about Father Mark and his connection to the Patriarch. The Inquisitor nods in approval. Very good. Your punishment can wait for now. Go find this Mark and take him to our dungeons. There's not much time left until the next sacred conclave. If Cassius is indeed a heretic, we must expose him before he is elected Patriarch again. Alright, my brother is recruited now. My reputation has went down by 1. Theology is, of course, maxed out. I am clever. That's a thing. And I'm still full of power, so that's fine. The Renegade. It is quite late at night. The cold air of the desert burns your skin. You are accompanied by Jean, Captain Agaron, and his champions of faith. You are on your way to the El Gauthier estate. Father Mark will preach there tonight. Your plan is almost complete. There are only minor details left to discuss. My squad and I will be right nearby. We'll rush to your aid if you need us. Be careful. We don't know what to expect of these renegades. Try to arrest Father Mark, but do not take any unnecessary risk. Inquisitor, you are heading into the enemy's lair to act as my weapon. When the time comes, smite the heretics mercilessly with the power of the twins. You promptly don inconspicuous travel attire instead of your usual cassock. There are priests among Father Mark's followers, but it is best not to attract attention. You saddle up and ride toward the estate. The entrance is guarded by armed men. You give them the password and proceed to the courtyard. You see several dozen people in the house. The cavernous main hall is lit by flickering candlelight. You see many commoners and a few noblemen seated around the tables. You spot armed guards by the windows and doors. You take a seat in the corner, far from the large groups of people, and await the beginning of the sermon. A short, stout man steps up onto a little pedestal. He is wearing the brown cassock of a clergyman, but without any symbols of the twins. The audience greets him with cheers. He responds with a charming smile and raises a hand, calling for silence. Greetings to you all. I see some new faces among us. You came to this house because you can find no refuge elsewhere. You came because you have questions no one is willing to answer. Why are the laws of this world so cruel? Why is your life, regardless of your estate, full of torment? Why are the ways of this world so unjust? And I answer, Ye shall know the tree by their fruits, by the fruits. The twin gods created this world with their will. The twin gods bestowed their law upon us. The twin gods filled the world with their love, but their creation is unendurable. There is no mercy in it, no joy, no kindness. If the world the gods created is so cruel, the only conclusion is that we have very cruel gods. A disturbed murmur buzzes through the audience. What the twins do to us with their will, their law, and even their love is a violation. They take our lives away, subjecting our existence to their will. Our happiness and joy is of no consequence to them, nor are our desires and hopes. All they require is servitude and unquestioning obedience. After we die, the inevitable awaits us. We will be dissolved in their boundless will, submitted to their absolute law, and drowned in their merciless love. Our will shall be no more. In the hereafter, there is no I, just they. We will cease to exist. So it makes no difference what we face after death, whether the peak of the pillar or the foot, it is all the same: eternity, dissolution, and oblivion. But despair not, brothers and sisters. As long as we have our worldly life, we do exist. As long as we live, we can still discover ourselves and become what we want to be, not what they want us to be. So we must cast aside the twins and live our lives in this world without a second thought for our cruel gods. We are all doomed in the hereafter, hence we are free now. I call upon you to rebel. Without a spiritual rebellion, we will all become slaves to their will for the rest of our lives. We will miss our only chance to live beyond the bounds of their pitiless law, and our lives will be no different from the hereafter that awaits us. The listeners meet Mark's words with hushed awe. This doesn't really sound like a very convincing speech, but whatever. But be aware that the path of deliverance is hard. Freedom is a burden, and it can break the spirit of even the most stalwart and wise. You think of Nathan lying on the dungeon floor. Patriarch Cassius was our brother and followed our teachings. He protected those in need of salvation and freed those who could no longer bear the will of the gods. But Cassius embarked upon the path of rebellion in an attempt to become like unto a god himself. I taught Cassius to forsake the divine laws, but what he heard was, make your own law. I taught him to save those who suffer from the will of the twins, but he heard, subject the world to your own will. Patriarch Cassius wants to divide the twins and forcibly liberate people of their oppression. His intention is to spread my teachings, turning them into a new prison for this world. I tried to make Cassius see reason, but a man who considers himself equal to the gods is deaf to the words of a mere mortal. I cannot stand against him, and I will not support him. This is the reason I am leaving Anazet and Magra. Tonight we meet for the last time. Mark steps down. He's instantly surrounded by people. It is time to decide what to do next. So I can't make a deal with Mark because we don't have tolerance of faith. And that's not what I want to do anyway. But I can lure Mark into a trap. If I do this, wait, what? I'll get evidence against Cassius. The Inquisition power will go up by 2. The tolerance of faith will go down by 1, which doesn't matter. But I'll lose family reputation. What? Alright. Scheming will go up by 1. And Father Mark will be in prison. If I capture him... Oh, I'll die. Yeah, I can't do that. Let's lure Mark into a trap. And I'm not going to return to Jean because that pretty much is my last shot at getting some evidence against Cassius. So, bye-bye, Mark. You look for Nathan among the crowd. As promised, he is here, keeping quiet in the shadows and trying to catch sight of you. You sit down next to him. He flinches a little and inadvertently touches his neck. The wounds from his punishment have not healed yet. Oh, it's you, Romulus. I'm not used to seeing you dressed like that. Well, how can I help? How can we save all these people who have lost the twins in their hearts? The first thing to do is to get Mark out of the house, Nathan nods. Out of the house. Nathan nods, perplexed. Father Mark likes to smoke his pipe outdoors. I'll try to persuade him to take a walk. I hope you know what you're doing. Meet me at the back door. Nathan leaves the table and goes straight to Mark. You hope he will not let you down. With a glass of wine in your hand, you go outside and pretend to be enjoying your drink in the coolness of the night. The suspense is painful. Each minute lasts forever. Several people pass you by. Eventually you hear some familiar voices. Your neck looks awful, Nathan. I've told you time and time again, drunkenness isn't freedom. It's just another kind of yoke. The gifts of this world must be enjoyed in moderation. You find the silver slabs in your pocket and close your eyes for a moment, praying to the younger for a miracle. The voices are drawing nearer still. You're right, Father Mark. Don't worry, I've learned a lesson I won't soon forget. The sound of their footsteps is very close now. You see Mark appear in the doorframe. You promptly lift your arms, allowing a miracle of the twins to be performed. The burning hot silver disappears. A white flash lights up the night. Jean will surely see the light. The preacher's body falls to the ground. With a sharp cry, you order your brother to get behind you. You hear running footsteps. The champions of faith rush into the yard. A fight erupts. You hear feet stomping and steel ringing all over the mansion. Jean walks up to you and points at Mark. Is that him? You nod. Excellent. For the first time in a long while, a smile appears on Jean's face. Alright, so Father Mark is imprisoned. We are almost at the tyranny of the Inquisition. I hope I can get it without triggering any problems, but I feel like I'm gonna have to. And our family's in a modest position. I don't think I'm gonna be able to max this out, so there's that. And my scheming went up by 1. Yay. Event has happened. Evidence against Cassius. You now have irrefutable evidence of Cassius' apostasy, the key to bringing the patriarch down. In the year of 1144, Father Mark is captured. He managed to arrest the blasphemous priest. So I wonder... Oh. The sentence. This event is a consequence of your previous actions. Father Mark is in prison. I'm curious if I turn around and manage to get the power of the Inquisition to 10 now, will I be able to keep it? Like, is it too soon to turn around and do this? I really hope it's not, but we'll see. The morning is cold. At the entrance to the Inquisition ward, you see a furious crowd. Among them are both commoners and nobles. The townspeople demand the execution of the captured Father Mark, and their numbers are quickly growing. The champions of faith are guarding the doors from the mob. Jean's angry voice is heard from the stairs. Go away. The Inquisition will not allow mob rule. The investigation is still underway, and only the Inquisition will decide when it ends. The mob is outraged. You squeeze through the crowd. Jean gives you a nod. You enter the ward together. You ask, how is the Mark's interrogation going? Ulrich still won't let anyone into Mark's cell. It has been 4 days. I do not know what he's doing there. Meanwhile, Cassius gives one sermon after another, accusing the Inquisition of harboring heretics. Jean suddenly stops. Ulrich comes up from the dungeons. The hemline of his cassock is splattered with blood. The senior inquisitor greets you with a contented grin. The old man has finally told me everything I need. He turned out to be tougher than I expected, but everyone has a breaking point. So Cassius planned to desecrate the sacred conclave. He was going to address the gods with the words of heresy. Mark gave me the names of the priests who promised to take his side. Brante, you did much more than catching a dangerous heretic. With this evidence, we will bring down Cassius himself. Father Ulrich, have you seen the crowd that gathers under our windows? Cassius has been accusing us of inaction for days. People came here to demand the execution of Mark. If we have all the evidence we need, isn't it time to burn the heretic at the stake? Cassius cannot tell me what to do. The heretic will die when I let him die, and that won't happen before we make sure he had told us the truth. We have to find everyone he has named. Let's start right now. I will visit the temples of the Silver District. Sister Jean, you are going to the slums. Brother Romulus, you shall stay to guard Mark. You walk down to the dungeons. A ray of sunshine from a tiny window casts some light over the figure of the prisoner. Mark looks drawn, his body mutilated. There are bloody bandages on his hands. He is restrained so he cannot take his own life. He is but a pale shadow of the once cheerful preacher. Only his eyes remain as alert and perceptive as before. He greets you with a gap-toothed grin and speaks to you in a hoarse voice devoid of any rancor. Good morning, Inquisitor Romulus. You know, I love winters in Magra. The snow-covered sand looks so peculiar. In the morning, the horizon looks like a cake with frosting on it. It's too bad we can't see it from here. You know, your brother is a good boy, but his spirit is weak. I wanted to ask you, Romulus, how did it happen? Where did I go wrong? Why did he betray us? You answer Mark's question truthfully. You tell him that Nathan suffered a lesser death and was freed from the delusion of his false teachings. Mark responded with a sad smile. So that was it. Believe it or not, I've never suffered a lesser death, and it seems I will not have a chance to. Truth be told, I've always feared meeting the twins, and apparently I was right. We have no way to oppose them there. No one is stronger than the gods, so I can only forgive Nathan. I hope he finds enough strength to forgive himself. Tell him that I hold no grudge against him. You hear the distant clamor of many voices through the window of Mark's cell. Hurried footsteps echo on the stairs. Captain Agaron enters the hallway. He is deeply distressed. Inquisitor, a huge procession led by Patriarch Cassius is approaching the ward. Apparently, they want to pass judgment on Mark the heretic. I commanded my men to defend the main gate. The smile on Mark's face fades away, replaced by sorrow or exasperation. The bruises make it hard to tell. Another disciple who has betrayed me, but Cassius does not deserve my forgiveness. The floor is shaking, resonating with the footsteps of the crowd. You can hear the Patriarch's voice faintly through the window. Follow me, good people. If the Inquisition cannot rid us of this heretic, we will do it ourselves, for the glory of the twins and their law. The congregation echoes his speech. Not even a squad of champions of faith will be enough to keep the throng at bay. You need to act, and quickly. I can send for Jean and Father Leonard. If I do this... the conditions that are met is we don't have the collapse of the Inquisition, we don't have Father Leonard's penance, and we have a high eloquence, and we have a high relationship with Jean. So, if I do this, order will go up by 1, Inquisition power will go up by 2, tolerance of faith will go up by 2, reputation will go up by 1, willpower will go down by 5, and Father Mark will receive a true death. If I send for Ulrich, Inquisition power will go up by 1, the tolerance of faith will go down by 1, reputation will go up by 1, eloquence will go up by 1, willpower will go down by 10, and Father Mark will also receive a true death. If I release Mark from captivity, Father Mark will be free, Jean will go down by 1, and that's going to be a shit show. And I can't just hand Mark over. He'll receive a true death, but the Inquisition power will go down by 2, tolerance of faith will go down by 2. Ooh boy, this is tough. I'm between sending for Ulrich and sending for Jean and Father Leonard. Shit. Let's see. This is tough. If I send for Jean and Father Leonard, Wait, I don't want that. Yeah, I don't want that because I don't want the tolerance of faith, of the new faith. Yeah. I don't want the tolerance of the new faith. So I do want the all-powerful Ulrich. And Cassius will face the Inquisition. And I do want the Inquisition power to be greater than or equal to 10. Okay, so... But it doesn't say anything about whether or not I need to have the tolerance of the faith be a certain level. Yeah, it doesn't necessarily matter. I just need the Inquisition's power to be 10. So that's gonna cost me more willpower if I send for Ulrich. Yeah, I'm gonna go with this because this is gonna cost me less willpower, and we'll also get the order +1. I'm kind of leery about this, but yeah, I'm gonna do this. The people Cassius brought here are demanding that Father Mark be tried. It only seems that holding a tribunal is the only way to prevent the outraged crowd from attacking the Inquisition ward. You command the champions of faith to find Sister Jean and the other inquisitors while the crowd is still far away. You also order them to bring Father Leonard and his congregation to the Inquisition ward as quickly as possible. These forces should be enough to restrain the Patriarch's troops until the tribunal can begin. I can see what you're planning to do, Inquisitor. I'll send for them. What about Inquisitor Ulrich? You shake your head. Your mentor has postponed this tribunal for far too long. He may forbid it altogether now. Hagaron nods in understanding and hurries up the stairs. You follow him. The first to arrive at the Inquisition ward is Father Leonard. Leonard follows shortly after. For both of them, this meeting is utterly odd. Brother Romulus, what is going on? What is he doing here? Cool your ardor, sister. I'm here to help. You try to avoid a quarrel. This is a moment when the entire Church of the Twin Gods must unite against a common foe, Father Mark and his heresy. Otherwise, Cassius will steer the wrath of his congregation himself, directing it first against the Inquisition and then against the new believers. Jean and Leonard contemplate each other tentatively for a while. I will help you, Brother Romulus. Jean agrees, albeit gloomily. Fine, what do I need to do? Time is of the essence. You asked Leonard to come to Captain Agaron's aid. He will address the congregation and appease their rage while Jean prepares Mark's trial. Leonard leaves the building a moment later. You hear his voice resounding over the grumbling of the crowd. Cassius, my friend, why have you led these people here? And with a call to bloodshed, no less. Is this in accordance with the common lot you preach to your flock? I and the people who follow me bring the law of the Twin Gods. Mark the renegade must die. The Inquisition is dragging its feet and will not hold a tribunal. So it is my duty as the head of the church in this land to smite the apostate. Your loyal congregation roars in support of Patriarch Cassius. This is telling me right now I probably should stop recording. Leonard responds, his soothing tone unaltered. Only the Inquisition has the right to hold trial and punish priests. The fate of this lost soul is in their hands. A few rocks fly from the crowd in Leonard's direction. Cassius' supporters are outraged by the new believer's insolence, but Jean stands by the priest's side. Stop. Trespass not against your lot. Rein in your wrath before it draws your souls to the foot of the pillar. You demand trial and punishment for the renegade. May it be known that he will be tried and punished forthwith. Jean gestures towards a stake that has been prepared for Mark. Inquisitor Romulus captured Mark the heretic. He will try the criminal before your very eyes. You ask everyone to offer prayers to the younger. These prayers are the beginning of each sacred tribunal. New and old believers alike kneel in prayer. Even Cassius is obliged to put his hands together in the appropriate gesture. A harmonious chorus of voices enunciating the holy words resounds over the streets. Glory be to the younger, defender of the world and the shining pillar. Glory be to the law he has bestowed upon us. Glory be to the order he protects. May he bless our deeds. May he preserve us from corruption and lawlessness. May his strength abide with us. The words of the prayer appease and soothe the crowd. The surging sea of people grows calm. You are not even interrupted when the Inquisitor brings Father Mark out of the Inquisition ward. You ask Jean to deliver the speech for the prosecution. Honorable Tribunal of Faith, among the ranks of the Inquisition, diverse ideas about the true design of the twin gods coexist. Some of us follow the teachings bequeathed by Saint Isotaeus, and some have adopted the teachings of Patriarch Photis. Yet we are united by a common understanding. The man who has been brought before the tribunal today is a dangerous heretic and a renegade. Isotaeus teaches us that we must live by our lots, by the divine laws bestowed upon us by the twin gods. But Father Mark teaches us to defy the very gods and their laws, their love, and their will. But what does a person have left in a world bereft of gods? What can fill the void in his soul? Lust and debauchery? The pleasures of the table and other excesses? Carnal delights? Without the twins, our souls can no longer find peace. Photis taught his flock to find their own path to the gods, and even if I do not endorse these teachings, I can still see that they are born of a love for the twins and its flock. But what are Mark's teachings born? What has driven this man to encourage you to denounce the twins and sacrifice your eternal souls? When I ask myself this, I can find no answer other than fear, pride, and cowardice. Father Mark is a renegade. His teachings are among the most heinous and dangerous ever created in the blessed Archnean Empire. Father Mark must be cleansed by fire. His name and his teachings must be buried in oblivion. The Inquisition and the Church of the Twin Gods must set aside their differences and feuds to purge the word of this poison. You ask if anyone wishes to defend Father Mark. All you get in response are shouts demanding a verdict. The apostate's guilt is incontestable. He is sentenced to be burned at the stake. Mark is tied to a stake, surrounded by a pile of dry wood. The exhausted preacher remains silent. Only the accusatory glance he casts at Cassius betrays his feelings. You pick up a torch and hold it over the pile. Worldly justice has been done. The judgment of the gods awaits. You unclasp your hands. The flame spreads across the dry wood, crackling. The fire blazes up. Mark perseveres for a while, but when the inferno enshrouds his body, he screams in pain. His last words are carried up into the winter sky. Not but the prison of their will awaits you. Cherish every day as long as you remain free. His cries die out. The crowd cheers. The mantle of snow covering the sand turns black from the ashes falling from the fire. Well, Mark is completely dead now. Kind of sucks when you think about it, because this man didn't even get a lesser death. He just straight up died. Like, Jesus. All right, so order has went up by 1. That doesn't do a whole lot. And we now have the tyranny of the Inquisition. And we have tolerance of faiths going up by 2. But they've been persecuted, so that's a thing. And our reputation went up by 1. So there's that. My willpower went down by 5, but I still got 10. So I should have between about 3 actions I could possibly do. 2 to 3 actions, depending on how much it takes off. It'll either be 10 and 5 or 10 or 5, 5, 5, and so on. All right, in the year of 1144, the execution of Father Mark, the heretic went to face the twins' judgment. Eternal torment at the foot of the shining pillar awaits him. Oh boy. So, deathbed. This, I believe, is going to be painful. But I'm going to stop it right here, and we will pick up with this in the next episode. So, thank you for watching. If you like the video, like the video. If you want to see more content like this, subscribe. I have a lot of things on the channel, and I will have many other things in the future. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to leave it in the comment section, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. Now, I also would like to preface in this video, because I don't know if I'm going to record another one. I've recorded 4 videos in one day. So that's, if you've made any suggestions over the last couple videos, it's probably the reason why I didn't actually do those things, or certain things aren't reflected. This was all recorded in one day. So I'm not sure. I may record one more after this, and that'll be 5 for the week. That'll give me the entire week of recorded videos. But just wanted to preface that, because I'm pretty sure I didn't put anything in the other videos, or anything as far as the comment section goes about, you know, of course, anything being recorded all in one day. So just wanted to let you know about that. But anywho, thank you for watching these and all the videos on my channel. I'll see you in the next one. See ya.